Right then, in this video we take a detailed look at a 1903 lift modernised in the 1940s by Express. This lift is manually controlled. This is a very rare lift. Now, this lift has got two motors, one motor for full speed and one motor for levelling speed. Now, this motor and logic is from the 1940s. In this era, lifts were fully automated. This is because automatic lifts for single speed came out around 1900s or 1910s. Automated lifts for dual speed self-levelling lifts came out in the 1920s. This lift is from the 1940s. Even though this lift has got two speeds as a levelling lift, by then this sort of thing should be automated. The lift logic this has is a classic Express lift logic. It's got a positioner, so it knows its exact position. It's got loads of relays to control the levelling stage and how the lift operates. Everything about the complexity of this system, this should be automated. But it's not. It's manually controlled. Why is that? Well, there's many comparisons I could make. Why was it the last steam train ever built was built in the 1960s, despite who would want a steam train then? That's ridiculous. The same can be said for this lift. This building wanted a lift with a lift attendant because it is an extremely posh building and it was posh to have lift attendants. Despite the fact, technology wise, there was no need for it to be manually controlled. It's got the full logic to run it automatically, but they chose for it to be manually controlled. A very rare, very late, possibly one of the last manually controlled lifts ever installed, and installed by choice, because there's no other reason for it to be manually controlled other than that this building specifically wanted it. This lift is a self-levelling lift, so when you let go of the menu controls, rather than just stopping, the lift carries on until it's near a floor, then it slows down to levelling speed, then it stops. But if you let go of the manual controls once it's at a floor and the lift overshoots that floor, it then reverses direction and levels back to the floor. It is a very interesting lift. So then, this building contains 4 lifts. One of them is the 40s manually controlled Express lift, 2 of them were 40s Express lifts replaced by Otis in the 70s, then replaced again in the modern day by shit generic, and the other lift was replaced by Otis in the 70s and is now abandoned. Let's start off with the most interesting lift here, which is the 1940s manually controlled Express lift. Let's ride it.
One of the lifts is still there, the cupboard's been derobbed.
It goes back up again.
Levels to the nearest floor.
And let's take a look on top of it. For some reason they've added some weird wooden bits on top of the lift, which seem very wobbly and it's not really possible to stand on top of it. Sadly, this one was too dodgy to surf, which is a shame because I really wanted to surf it.
It's got a weird thing on top so you can't see it properly. Very strange thing on top of it. It's got full position on that, despite being manual.
Let's now go down to the creepy basement. And let's go into the motor room. And in this motor room, you can see the logic and the 2 motors for his classic old express lift. You can also see an abandoned old Otis motor for the 70s Otis lift that's now been replaced. Also, there's bits of Otis lift logic left scattered over the floor from the Otis that got replaced, which is quite odd to see.
That's crazy, isn't that an Otis there? That's Otis logic. And the Otis logic's just left there.
But the 40s express lift is still intact and still completely original. Let's take a look at it.
B-lift, C-lift, express lift.
And looking at the lift logic, it is a full express lift logic, not just a regular one, but a really advanced one with levelling. It's even got a positioner so it knows its exact position. This is because you actually can call the lift on the outside of the lift, then it lights up what floors are being called, then the lift attendant can then drive a lift to that floor. But the thing is, this thing has got enough relays and complication to this to be fully automated, yet they want it to be manually controlled by choice. It's so bizarre.
Controlled automated leveling.
Let's now take a look in the other motor room. This motor room now just has, oh dear, just 2 modern day lift logics in it for where the lifts got replaced. So this building has gone from really nice Relay Express lifts, then later replaced with Relay Otis lifts, and now they've gone for this rubbish.
It's faster than that, but they bodged it.
It's awful, this thing.
So, and out of these 4 lifts, well, 2 of these lifts have been replaced for the second time. One of these lifts has only been replaced once by the Otis lift in the 70s and is now abandoned. So let's now take a look at the car top of this abandoned Otis lift.
I'm special control on that.
Get the main floor this.
Get the door, get the door.
And let's take a look inside of it. Sadly, the buttons have been replaced.
It would have had original logic though. I don't know what the cabs would have been like.
Oh, it's so nice. It's modded. Ceiling looks good. Oh, it's a shame.
It did have original logic.
There's your gearbox with cables just left dangling.
No keys in.
It's creepy on this floor. Look at that asbestos. That's a lot of asbestos.
Oh, that's, oh, jeez.
Good idea.